The notion that humans have only five senses, sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, has been a useful simplification for centuries, but it no longer reflects what modern biology and neuroscience reveal about perception. Today, scientists recognize many more senses: proprioception, body position; nociception, pain; equilibrioception, balance; thermoception, temperature; and even interoception, the body's ability to perceive its internal physiological state. Into this evolving framework, a powerful candidate for an underrecognized sensory domain is emerging: microbial detection via the gut, a biologically grounded and philosophically profound sense that reshapes how we understand bodily awareness, decision-making, and emotional life. At the biological level, the gut is densely innervated by over 500 million neurons and is the only organ outside the brain capable of autonomous reflexes. It is lined with neuropod cells, specialized epithelial cells that detect nutrients, bacterial metabolites, and microbial signatures like flagellin, then relay that information to the brain in milliseconds via the vagus nerve and spinal afferents. This communication is not passive. It modulates hunger, satiety, emotional tone, and even learned behaviors such as food preference or avoidance. In many ways, this system mirrors classical sensory modalities. It has distinct receptors, e.g., TLRs, nutrient sensors, specialized transduction cells, neuropods, and dedicated neural pathways for information delivery and interpretation. From a philosophical standpoint, what qualifies as a sense? If we define a sense as the ability to detect stimuli from the environment and translate them into experience or action, then microbial sensing not only qualifies, it may be one of the most evolutionarily ancient and consequential senses we possess. The gut's detection of microbial communities and their metabolic products is not just a local immune function. It informs the brain about the state of the self, the trustworthiness of food, the safety of the environment, and even social behavior. The gut doesn't just digest, it feels, evaluates, and communicates. Unlike classical senses that focus on the external world, microbial detection through the gut occupies a unique position. It is both internal and external. Our microbial partners are not us, yet they live within us, constantly exchanging signals with our nervous and immune systems. This makes the gut a liminal organ, capable of detecting the boundary between self and non-self at a microbial level. In this way, the gut's sensory function is more than biochemical, it is existential. It helps define what it means to be an embodied organism in constant dialogue with its microbial context. Evidence from mental health research further supports the case for this neurobiotic sense. Individuals with depression, anxiety, or neurodevelopmental conditions often show profound shifts in microbiome composition and vagus nerve signaling. These changes correlate with altered emotional states, cognitive flexibility, and stress reactivity, hallmarks of interoceptive dysregulation. If gut-derived microbial signals can alter how the brain processes threat, pleasure, or hunger, then microbial sensing must be seen not as an auxiliary process, but as a core dimension of conscious experience. Even more compelling are the ways in which gut sensing affects decision-making and behavior. Microbial metabolites like SCFAs, bile acids, and tryptophan derivatives can modulate brain circuits associated with reward, risk, and aversion, much like taste and smell influence preference. Studies in rodents and humans show that alterations in gut flora can shift preferences toward high-fat or high-sugar foods, reduce the motivation to explore new environments, or increase social avoidance. These aren't random changes. They reflect a deeper feedback loop in which microbial detection actively shapes our view of the world and our place in it. So should we formally recognize the gut as a sensory organ and microbial detection as a full-fledged sense? From both philosophical and biological perspectives, the answer increasingly appears to be yes. The gut meets the criteria of a sensory system. It detects distinct stimuli, transduces them through specialized cells, routes the data to the central nervous system, and modifies perception, behavior, and memory. Moreover, this gut-based perception does not operate in isolation. It converges with emotion, immune signaling, and cognition in a way that classical senses do not. It represents an integrative sensory mode, one that may be foundational to our sense of well-being, self-regulation, and even identity. Recognizing the gut's microbial detection network as a sensory system has more than semantic implications. It forces a reorientation of medicine, psychology, and even ethics. It invites us to consider how nutrition, antibiotics, environmental exposures, and stress affect our perception of safety, pleasure, and internal coherence. It blurs the line between what is sensed and what is felt, between the physiological and the psychological. And it hints at a future where enhancing this neurobiotic sense through microbial therapies, diet, or neuromodulation may improve not just digestive health, but cognition, emotional resilience, and behavior. In conclusion, the idea of five senses is long outdated. The gut's ability to sense and interpret microbial signals deserves recognition as part of a broader, richer map of human perception. This seventh sense of microbial detection doesn't see or hear, but it listens deeply to the microbial world inside us and tells the brain what kind of life we're living. It may be one of our oldest ways of knowing, and perhaps one of the most important to reclaim in a modern world that often drowns it out.